Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday coaching call. Every single Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock Pacific, we're here to deliver an awesome weekly sales meeting. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach. For those of you that are new to our coaching call, this is the first time you've been on a Tuesday coaching call. I urge you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Recommend that you connect with us on Facebook. We're always adding ways. New ideas, what are we doing, success stories, who's the speaker going to be for our Tuesday call. We're just always adding things to that. So again, make sure you connect, you like our Facebook page, and you connect with me on LinkedIn. Before I bring in our special guest, Mr. Coach Mike White, I am going to just cover some teachings from past weeks. Mike, I'm going to properly introduce you in about, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. So feel free to jump in if they say something you want to add something to. Don't hesitate to jump into the conversation, okay?
Not a problem.
All right. So as you all know, I've been really loving this book, The Challenger Sale. I think it's really valuable for mortgage professionals. I think it's valuable for branch managers to get there, to grasp this and create more intentionality around how you are leading a team of Challenger salespeople. If you don't know what I'm talking about right now and you're new, watch a few of the past calls, and I get into this in more detail. Really for today, I just want to remind everybody that the Challenger sales rep is the most successful sales rep. They are actually much more successful as people that are winning by being great relationship builders. Relationship building is important, but it's not most important. Being a Challenger rep is most important. So what are the key things that Challenger reps are doing? They're tailoring, they're teaching, and they're controlling the sales process. So going into this conversation with Coach Mike White, I thought it would be a good reminder that we need to always focus around personalizing our advice, around not just quoting rates, but teaching people. And how do you know if you taught someone something? You know it by the bullseye. If all they did is said, okay, I'll fill out a loan app, you didn't necessarily teach them. You can win a loan and not teach them something. So the bullseye is when you get that home buyer or that realtor to say, wow, I never thought of it that way before. That's the goal. That's the game that we're playing in the mortgage industry, is getting people to see things differently because you taught them something really valuable, really unique. So Anthony did a great job on last week's call. He mentioned a new infographic that we published. But this is a great teaching. You know, what happens is, as a home buyer, if you just took $5 a day, saved it up, and applied it to your principal every month. Well, if you're the average American or the average homeowning American, based off of a $214,000 loan amount, and you paid $150 a month, you pay off your house in 7.7 years. For most people, that's a learning. They didn't know that. So when you're the mortgage professional, it's not just quoting rates, but you're asking people things like, how old do you want to be when your home's paid off? Okay? And based off the loan we're giving you today, how old are you going to be? Most of the time when people answer those two questions, they're going to be 5 years, 10 years older than they want to be. So now you've created an opportunity to coach, an opportunity to teach, and then make part of your conversation, my goal is to not only help you pick the best loan for your needs, but to help you make sure you pay it off faster. So do you have a gym membership that you're not using or magazine subscriptions that you're not using? And you teach them that taking some of that extra money and applying it to their principal, they pay off their home faster. It's an awesome teaching. It makes this business a lot more fun when you're delivering that kind of value. So for anybody that didn't already see it, which I'm guessing it's most of you because we put this out on Facebook, we sent an email out, and thousands of people have downloaded this, have commented on it, have shared it on their own Facebook page. I made a video. So again, this is my mobile call to action for everybody before we bring in Coach Mike, that if you just take your app, whether it's Android or your iOS app, put in Savage, just type in Savage where the link goes, you will hear me talk about this teaching and the strategy, and it will drive that mobile call to action. So again, homework assignment for everybody. Make sure you follow up on this. I hope this was a great reminder that we're not going to quote rates. We're not going to just win loans. We're going to wow borrowers by teaching them something they didn't already think about. Mike, anything you want to add on that before I do a quick survey question and bring you into the conversation?
Well, Dave, I think it's an interesting point that you make.
Mike, you were really faint. I can barely hear you. Jacob, is it just me?
I said, Dave, it's a really interesting point that you bring up about the value. Clearly, the factor here is differentiation. And what it is that you're sharing is it is not about selling rate. It's about providing value. I've always stressed information, education, and options as the three most important things to share with a client going down the road. And I think you make a great point with that, is the power of what $5 a day means or how the long-term effect of their life looks. I think if you look at that bagel every day and compare it to a $39,000 savings or 7 years worth of not having to make payments, it becomes very impactful that, what does this mean to me? Because sometimes we don't think much of $5. Sometimes we don't think much of the gym membership or the magazine or the extra cable channels. But part of what I want to talk about today is sort of what you brought up, is just a little bit change of perspective of to how you approach things and make things happen that are of extra value, like bringing something like this up. These little add-ons, these little 2 to 3 minute conversations you have with the client can be all the difference in the world in differentiating yourself from the person online who's selling a loan at a price that they can't possibly deliver on.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to bring you in just a minute. One quick survey question before I do that. We are doing more and more with military. We're hearing more of these strategies, and we want to know, have you done a VA or a government loan over the past 60 days? And I would say, or even done a comparison. Have you done an edge experience for someone over the past 60 days where a VA loan was involved in the analysis? I want to get a feel for what percentage of our community is doing Mortgage Coach Edge reports or should be doing Mortgage Coach Edge reports to help military folks make great decisions. So please fill this out. I also want to say while I'm doing this, if you've done a great edge experience for someone in the military to help them make a better decision, please email that to me at dave@mortgagecoach.com. I would love to see how you're using our solution to deliver value to our military. I really would. So Mike, any guesses on how this survey question, how it's going to roll out? And again, everybody, give me a last push. We're only at 68% of you have voted, and I want to push up the results. Mike, any guesses on your end?
I'd be willing to bet that the answer will actually be somewhere between 10 and 15% of the people actually having done one.
That is what I would have guessed, and you and I would have guessed wrong. Check it out. 57% of the folks on this call right now have used Edge or provided options around a military loan. Pretty interesting, huh?
Well, I think that the great point about that is especially with using the Edge program, is making sure that when you do present situations, even if they're in general, including a VA option in your list of comparables, even if they're not a veteran, may be an example to show, when the realtor passes that around, or I have some people using, your product to put on with the listing. You don't know who's going to make an offer on that house, and you don't know where they're going to come from. So using a VA product as part of the comparison is always a valuable tool. And as you can see, with more than 50% of the people having done a VA loan, it certainly says something for the power of having access to the VA product.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I remember I've interviewed Louise Faxton with Fairway Mortgage many a times, and she has a tremendous heart for military families. And one of the things that she loved was that so often when a military family is buying a home, it's really important that they know that how much equity they're going to build up over a short period of time, because there's a good chance they're going to get moved, they're going to get transferred. So showing, hey, what if you bought this home versus this home? Where would you be in 3 years? What's the cost over 3 years? What's the mortgage balance at the end of 3 years? So they understand what their risk is when they're evaluating, do I rent, do I buy, do I use my military VA options and benefits, or do I get an FHA, or do I put more down? So I just urge everybody, we need to serve the military right. They're serving us right, and helping them make an informed decision around the best financial strategies for them, helping them make an informed decision on whether they should use their VA program or not. It's important. It's valuable. Let's give back as an industry. And please email me, dave@mortgagecoach.com, if you have delivered an edge experience to a military family. I want to know about it. I want to make sure that us at Mortgage Coach, we're doing a better job at helping the military. So please email me any examples. I'd be grateful for that. So let's get into the meat of the call. This call is all about making selling a game. Again, you'll know what I mean in a little bit. I'm a big fan of Mike White. I was referred to Mike, I don't know, it's probably been 3 years, and referred by a great mutual friend and a great industry leader at Fairway Mortgage. And then for the past couple of years, every time I go to the Fairway annual sales summit or just their big annual event in Madison, Wisconsin, I always get the opportunity in the chat time to chat with Mike and all the value he's bringing. And he brings a tremendous perspective. So I think everyone's going to really enjoy this call. I do urge everybody on this call to connect with Mike on LinkedIn. He's got a great LinkedIn profile. He keeps up and has a great presence on Facebook. We're going to give you his website towards the end of the call, and he's got some special, just great content for the Mortgage Coach community. But Mike, this is the first time. Wait, you were a guest one time before on this call, weren't you? Haven't I had you as a guest one time before?
Absolutely. It was about a year ago, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a year. But for the folks on this call that don't know you, before we really get into how do we turn selling into a game, just tell us a little bit about your background and your coaching practice.
Well, Dave, I got started in the mortgage business in the early 80s. I know that's before most of your listeners were born. And the first loan that I closed was a 30-year fixed at 15 7/8 and 5 points. And it took 3 days for the wire to show up. And so for those of you out there who are seeing rates move up a little bit from the low threes to where we are now, don't panic. I was in the business from 1983 to 2001, and I don't think I ever closed a 30-year fixed-rate loan under 7%. I've been in all facets of the business, and the reality was in 2001 I left originations and started coaching and consulting because a lot of people were talking to me about what we were doing and how we were doing it, and it became a real passion to me to share with people some things that I thought were fundamental in the industry that I come to find out that are not so fundamental. And so I started sharing this with people, and I started doing some coaching and some training, and over the years it has built its way up to the fact that I have a little over 60 personal clients that I speak to every week, and over 100 people in various group programs. And now we've actually grown the company to include a program that works on the realtor mortgage relationship on a monthly call. And I brought in my good friend and trainer Terry Murphy to actually supplement the coaching and training I'm doing for mortgage people. Then we've started a coaching program for realtors as well. So it really has grown. It has been an amazing thing. And for me, just so that you all know, and I know a number of my clients will be on this call waiting for me to say this part, is this isn't about creating $50 or $100 million producers. That's not what I do. What you're going to find from me, and what we'll talk about a little bit today, is the fact that I know, as well as Dave knows, that about 70% of all people in the origination business never get past 4 loans a month. And statistically speaking, the ones that do get to 5 and beyond run a really good chance of going to 10 and beyond. And so my career and a lot of what I've done and what I do now is primarily focused on working with those 2, 3, 4 loan a month loan originators and showing them the simple steps and the simple systems that they can employ to take them from that 3 loan a month average that we get hung up on, and showing them how to grow to 5, 6, or 7 loans a month. And ironically, what happens is about a third of the people that you talk to, if they break through and get to 5, they go on to do 10 plus loans a month. And that's always been the magic to me. It's not how many top producers can I coach. I am very fortunate. I do have a number of people who do very well in the mortgage business, and they would have done very well without me. The part where I take a great deal of pride is the vast majority of the people that I work with are significantly higher than the national average. And I think the one thing that I hang my hat on is the average loan originator in the country last year averaged about 3.5 loans a month. And my average client averaged a little over 10 loans a month. And I think a lot of that is not because we're looking at people doing 50 or 60 loans a month, because quite frankly, I can't help anybody do that type of number. But what I can help them do is figure out how to get to 5, 6, 7, and 8. And when they get from there, they can take what they've learned and they can compound that into greater production. And so that is part of where I am and what it is that I try to do. It's all about the name of my company, which is Improve My Tomorrow, because I believe in the very simple statement is, have I done something today that improved my tomorrow? And so with Dave's blessing and bringing me on to speak with all of you, I want to share something with you guys that I have brought up, and Dave and I have talked about a little bit, and he's invited me to come back and share with you. Again, one of these observations that I've made that may help you put our industry into a little bit of perspective.
Hey, Mike.
Yes,
let me jump in real quick. So, Jacob, if you could do me a favor, and I would like to know what percentage of the call consistently closes over 5 loans a month. So if you just create a survey question for me in the next few minutes, I'll ask it when I get another opening. Do you close over 5 loans a month consistently? Yes or no? So please load that, Jacob. As Mike gets into his content, what I love so much and why I'm so excited about this call is it is truly back to the basics. As he said, he is extremely passionate about helping loan officers break through that 5 loan a month milestone. And as he also said, once loan officers learn to do that on a consistent basis, getting to 10 is a whole lot easier. It's getting your practice of closing loans, generating leads, creating the rhythms and the habits to get to that is where all the chest pain comes in. And so many, the majority of loan officers never get there, as Mike said. The other thing that I think is so special is the concept of making selling a game. And I'm not going to steal any of Mike's thunder because only he can say it the way he does. But think of, as you hear him talk, think of this as getting back to the basics, turning your mortgage practice and turning your day-to-day rhythms of selling into a game. Jacob, if you could let me know when that survey question is up so I can push that. And Mike, with no further ado, walk us through some of your thoughts and concepts around this.
Thanks, Dave. What I try to do with people when we talk about this is stressing fundamentals, because unfortunately, when it comes to the mortgage industry, there are so many things that we do that are different from a lot of other type of businesses or other sales type positions. And so it becomes this thing, some of us are trained elaborately, most of us got nothing more than I did, which was a stack of rate sheets and told to go out and hand them to realtors. The educational process, even though now that we're required to take and pass a test from the NMLS to be certified and get licensed to go forward, what really doesn't happen in our industry a lot is people sitting us down and showing us, what do I do on Monday? What do I do on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday? How do I spend my time? How long are things supposed to take? Because what happens here is we often just don't know, because what we see is in an industry where 3 loans a month or thereabouts is average, somehow we manage to consume all of our time. In other words, activities take place and loans close, but the loan officer who closes 5 or 10 loans a month doesn't necessarily spend any more time working than the person who closes 3. In fact, many of my clients will tell you and will share stories with you that how closing 10 or 15 loans a month is easier and less stressful and takes less time than trying to close 3. And there are very real reasons for that. And the reasons are numerous. And so what I want to share with you today are some thoughts. And what I do as a coach is I try to put things into terms that we can relate to. And so what this section about is I'm going to use a lot of references to baseball because most of us at least understand the basic concepts of baseball. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at the mortgage business as if it were playing baseball. And where I want to start you out.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
And I want everyone to know I did post that question. It's up on your screen right now. Please go and answer that. Do you consistently close 5 or more loans per month? Yes or no? Consistently. I'm going to push the results real quick, and then you can continue, Mike. I just thought this would be some interesting insight. And let's see how close your results are. Again, guys, one more push. Give me a vote. I'm going to close it. I'm going to push it. And there's the results, Mike. 76% do not. 24% do close over 5 loans a month. So I think you've validated what you thought were the results. Just a good FYI.
Well, you know, Dave, and like I said, you and I have done this polling, and we speak to many, many loan officers over and over and over again, and those numbers are absolutely in line with what we see. About 70% of all loan originators never get there. That's just the way it is. And so the good news to everybody that's here is, of the people that do, a good percentage of those go on to really great things. So let's look at baseball, and let's understand it, and we'll start out with the diamond just the way we have it here. And we all know that, you know, you get up to bat, you hit the ball on the ground, and the first thing you do is you drop the bat and you run toward first base. And so we know first base is to the right. And why? Because that's the way it's set up. If we get to first base and nobody's picked up the ball, then we run toward second base. And if we get to second and nobody's picked up the ball, or we think we can make it before the ball arrives, we go to third. And ultimately the goal is to come home and score a run. Now, it's a very simple concept. Most people understand it. We watch the game hundreds and thousands of times. And we often, as I do here in Florida, I really enjoy watching the little kids learning how to play t-ball for the very first time. And one of the things I've observed is that if I took a bunch of 5-year-old kids who had never played organized baseball before, and we put them all together at the t-ball field, every once in a while, kid will hit the ball and he'll run the wrong way. Now, everybody in the stands thinks it's very funny that that child is running the wrong way. To that child, it was a simple mistake, and in fact, does it really matter? If Abner Doubleday, when he invented the game of baseball, had done it the other way around and made us run to the left and go clockwise around the bases, none of us would have thought twice about it. And in fact, if you take a bunch of 5-year-old children who've never played baseball before, and you teach them to run clockwise around the bases instead of counterclockwise around the bases, within a very short period of time, those children will be having a grand time playing baseball, enjoying themselves without the slightest concern in the world that they're doing it wrong, because they don't know any different. They're doing it the way they were taught to do. And the game ostensibly is the same thing, and they can have a lot of enjoyment with it. Here's the flip side of the coin. If I went to Dodger Stadium before a Dodgers game, and we made a minor rule change and said, okay, everybody, all of you people who are the best professionals there are in the world to play baseball, we're now just going to make one minor rule change. Instead of running counterclockwise around the bases, we're going to run clockwise around the bases. You know what would happen? It would be a horror show. The best athletes in the world, the most skilled professional baseball players, would make mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Why? Because instinctively they have learned to play baseball under a certain set of rules. And in their mind, they don't think about the ball being hit on the ground, catching it and throwing it to first base. It's a reaction. It is something that happens automatically in their lives. For the child playing baseball for the first time, they're thinking about every action. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? A professional baseball player, 90 to 95% of the things that they do are instinctive. If you stand there in the batter's box waiting for the pitcher to throw the ball, and you start thinking to yourself, now I got to follow the ball. Is it a fastball? Is it a curve? Is it inside or is it outside? Is it high or low? By the time you start to think of that, it's over. It's past you. It's a strike or you're out. The answer to the question is baseball players exceed normal limitations of regular human people playing the game to professional status based upon how much they can do instinctively. That is called speed of the game. The difference between the professionals at the highest level and the ones that are below that are minimal. I like to call it the 1 second rule. If the person who wins the Olympic gold medal wins by a thousandth or 2,000ths of a second off of the person who gets the silver medal, the person who finished 8th in the final may have finished a 1/10 of a second behind that person, while the AAU champion at UCLA is 1 second slower, covering the same distance, and is sitting at home and watching the Olympics on TV. 1 second over 100 yards is the difference between being somebody who is on the track team at college and somebody who wins the Olympic gold medal and will be on the cover of the cereal box. It becomes what's instinctive. Some of what we do is natural ability. The people who succeed in the mortgage business at 30 and 50 and $100 million production levels, they have a certain talent for it. You can't teach some people to get to those levels, but you can teach people to the basic fundamental rules so that they can get to 5 and 7 and 8 loans a month. And that's why we talk about baseball. So I'm going to look at the mortgage business like we look at baseball, and I'm going to ask a question that all of you need to go is, do we know what the rules are? And in the mortgage business, we have some very simple rules. We have to get in front of people that will send us opportunities, generate referrals. We generally call that prospecting. The second thing that we have to do is we have to communicate with the people that come into our system, either our referral partners or our clients, and that's called communications. And the third thing we have to do is we have to convert those prospects into closed loans. That's called process. So there's 3 basic things we do in the loan business, and all of which they have to be accounted for. So when we look at baseball and say to ourselves, okay, what are the fundamental rules of baseball? Well, the fundamental rules of baseball is there's 9 innings in the game, there's 3 outs per side, there are the 4 bases, the diamonds are relatively the same, And we all know the fundamental rules. 3 strikes and you're out, 4 balls and you walk. That's how this goes. Well, in the mortgage business, we really don't do a really good job of understanding what our rules are. And we certainly don't do an excellent job of understanding the different ways in which to either play the game or ultimately score points. So here's one of the questions that I'd asked Dave to run a poll on. And so the poll would be, and Dave, we could run that poll about, do any of you people have a routine that you follow in your workflow? In other words, when a loan comes to you, do you have a set routine on how you go through that process? Do you know what it is that's going to happen from point A to point B, sort of like first base, second base, third base, home? And do you have any idea what the cutoff places would be? In other words, I hit the ball into the outfield, I can make it to first base, but I can't make it to second, so I settle for a single. I hit the ball in a different place in the outfield, I think I can make it to second, so I can do a double. In baseball, there are places where you can stop along the way. You don't have to hit a home run or nothing. So what I would like to know, when you set up your workflow, do you follow a specific routine on how it is you do your job?
So everybody, I have posted that question. Give me a quick push before I push the results. So go to your screen, vote. Do you follow a routine in how you execute your sales process with your home buyers? Do you have a routine? And also, do you have a routine for your realtors? Give me a push. I'm going to close it. Come on, guys. Let's get it north of 70%. One more push. There we go. And I'm going to close it. There's the results. Mike, do you see them?
Okay, so we got 67% of the people have a routine that they follow in their workflow. So that's a pretty good number right off the bat. And so you've already started the process of converting your system into something that becomes measurable. And remember that word because we're going to talk about it a little further on. Being able to measure what you do and when you do it becomes very important. Again, like baseball. Baseball is a game that has no clock. It's not like basketball that has a clock ticking. Baseball game takes as long as it takes to complete the 9 innings. Well, guess what? That's the mortgage business. There is no clock. A loan officer spends as much time as it takes to get that loan done. Well, why is that? How come we don't have a clock in the mortgage business? Why don't we say to ourselves or know how long it takes from the time that we speak to a customer to the time that we close that loan? How do we not know how much time it takes to do that job? In fact, many times I poll people and I ask them, do you know how long it takes you? How much time you spend? It'd be an interesting thing for you to think about because many have never posed that question to themselves. You have a routine. 67% of you are following a routine. But does that routine follow a schedule? Does it follow a timeline? Do you know how long things take you? That becomes important. Again, just like baseball. Baseball is a game of numbers. They do a lot of statistical measurements in baseball. Somebody who is an all-star player may have a 300 batting average, but maybe they don't hit a lot of home runs. Another person on the team may have a 250 batting average, but hits an awful lot of home runs and drives in or gets a lot of RBIs. Both of them are very important people. One person gets on base, and another person drives them home to score the run. They're not the same skill, but they're equally important on their team. Well, when you're looking at the work that you do, you should start looking at your work, and you should start thinking to yourselves about doing this work and how does it represent me scoring a run. What does this activity mean to me? Speaking to that realtor and talking to them about an open house or a listing that they have. Is that a single or a double or a triple or a home run? how do I rate that activity amongst all the other prospecting activities I can be doing? Going to an open house and talking to the people that walk through it and pre-qualifying buyers, how do I rate that activity? In other words, how do they contribute to scoring runs? You see, all of us keep some sort of scorecard. Unfortunately, most of us keep score just by the number of loans that we close or the dollar value of those loans. And the problem with just keeping score there is that you often don't know how you did until the month is over or until the year is over. Isn't that a shame that we find out in January that our prior year wasn't as good as we thought it was? Isn't it a shame that we find out in September that August wasn't as good as we thought it was going to be? How different would your life look if you were doing things on a daily basis that you could track so that you could see not what you've done in the past, but look ahead to see what your future is going to look like? Again, first base, second base, third base, home. In our business, I like to call it suspect, prospect, applicant, closed, client. We have to talk to people, and we have to communicate with them to find out if we can take them to the next step. So getting in front of people on a daily basis to talk to them about the mortgage business, either to do a loan for them or to talk to them about referring us somebody we can do a loan for, that's a contact. That's a very important thing to do. And that should have a point value to it in your daily work. I like to work on a very simple 30-point scoring system. Every time I speak to somebody, either about doing a loan for them or about the possibility of them referring a loan to me, I get a point for contacting that person. I get 1 point. If I speak to 10 or 15 people that day, I get 10 or 15 points. Every time a result of that action is moving them through the system, in other words, generating a new referral or generating somebody from the suspect stage to the prospect stage, which is giving me enough information so that I can pull credit and offer price, product, and programs, in other words, creating an edge report for them, that would be second base. That would be getting to second base. So I speak to somebody, they're on first base, I create an edge report for them for the purposes of determining what their ability is to do a loan. I'm at second. Completing the application and turning it into processing is third, and closing the loan is scoring the run. Every day we can do it a series of either hitting home runs or knocking away at singles and doubles and triples. You have to set your day up, give yourself points. So in a 30-point day, you get 1 point for talking to somebody. You get 3 points for moving them from base to base, suspect, prospect, applicant, closed, client. You get 10 points for having a meeting with a referral partner and discussing the different ways that you can improve each other's opportunities to do their business. Suspect, prospect, applicant, closed, client, first base, second base, third base, home. If you start looking at what you do, and each one of us should be doing this, what are the things that I do each day that lead toward closing a loan transaction? And what are they worth to me? You can use my scoring system or you can create your own. See, the problem in the mortgage business is if you're closing 3 loans a month, you're closing a loan every 10 days. That leaves a lot of time that you can go to work and a day or two can pass without anything appreciably happening. There's no success or failure felt in the course of that day. Hence, time just exists. Imagine if you set yourself a daily goal. I am going to score X number of points. Zig Ziglar used to use the 10 pennies theory. In other words, he'd put 10 pennies in his right pocket. And every time he would go out and speak to somebody about what it was he was doing, he would transfer a penny from the right pocket to the left pocket. If at the end of the business day he was about to go home and he realized he still had pennies in the right pocket, he would go out and speak to people or make a number of sales calls until all the pennies had moved from his right pocket to his left. Well, that's a very handy sales technique. Do we know how many points we need to score in a day to reach our goal? If I want to close 5 loans a month, I need to calculate a plan that says, this is how many people I speak to each day in order for that to be the result of my actions. You see, you've got to look at this as a game. When we're little kids, we all play games. And contrary to what people will tell you, people like to win. I am not a big fan of participation trophies. Just like I'm not a big fan that in our industry, we accept the fact that 3 loan-a-month loan originators are the average. I am on a personal mission to move that to a minimum of 5. Simply because, for those of you who do 3 loans a month, imagine a world where you never did less than 5 loans in a month. Your life changes immensely. And for those of you who can go from 3 to 5, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you go on to 10 plus. I know this as a coach. I see it every day. The barriers are minimal. So the point is look at your processes. Look at what happens. What do I do each day that scores points for me so that it leads to the results that I need? Fundamentally, we come down to looking at the game of baseball. First base, second base, third base, home. How many runs do I need to score in order to be satisfied with the effort and the activities that I put forward? Most of us concede 3 loans is where we're at. But what if we changed our vision on what it would take to get to 5 or more? So a few simple things that you can do. Set your own bases up. Take baseball or any other sport that you like and you're happy with and parallel the game. Because once you're doing actions and activities out of habit, once you sit there on the phone with a client and know that I'm going to do their mortgage edge report, and I'm going to take that report and I'm going to record that video and I'm going to send it to the client, and I'm going to attach it to their Facebook page, or I'm going to send it to a copy to the realtor. They can attach it to their listing. How many of those views now do you get? How many other people know that you're engaged in doing this? How does that differentiate you from being the person on the other end of the phone who just quotes a rate or tells them about closing costs? And how much time does it save you? My clients who actively use the Edge product, who create these videos, will tell you they save an immense amount of time not having to go back and re-explain to a customer their options or their closing costs. You talk about working with veterans. The people that I have that are working with either the active military or working with couples in general, the ability to speak to one of the clients and have them play the video and look at their things saves you a ton of phone calls coming back to answer questions. In fact, some of my clients use the video as a business card because instead of just, hey, we're going to just sit there, instead of giving you a card, here's the link. Here's a video explaining who this person is and what they do. Imagine if you start making those connections, how a simple 5 or 10-minute task, like putting together your Edge report and sending it to that customer, by taking 30 seconds or a minute and taking that link and sending it to the realtor or sending it to the financial planner or sending it to the accountant or sending it to their attorney or posting it on their Facebook page or posting it on the realtor's Facebook page, or how about the seller's Facebook page? You see, there's a number of different uses for the same product. You have a great product here that you're already putting together. Being able to attach it to a number of different vehicles creates leverage. Now, I know initially just like the children who are learning to play baseball who may run the wrong way, it's not a habit yet. But I guarantee you, 15 or 20 edge reports down the road, you won't think of talking to a customer without doing this, without leveraging the value of having such technology. See, those are the steps, those little tiny incremental steps that separate the 3 and 5 loan a month producer. It's the same person. The person who gets to 5 amplifies and leverages their results based upon a known set of values. And those values are first base, second base, third base, home. How many times I get in front of opportunities dictates the results that I'm going to get at the end. You see, you're not doing enough business because you're just not speaking to enough people. If we can expand the number of people and the number of touches that you can have by incrementally, minimally increasing the amount of work that you need to do by seconds, not hours, you can take the same amount of work, add a simple twist, and sometimes grow your business by 10, 20, 50% or more. These are the touches, just like in the game of baseball. The more you practice, the better you get. The more you develop your skills, the things that become automatic to you, the less likely it is you're going to make a mistake and have to go back and correct it. It's about developing habits. The professional baseball player can't play the game of baseball if we change the simple rule of running the wrong way around the bases. However, they can play the game at a very high level if they play the game consistently over time and maximize their opportunities based upon a known set of values. And that's what I was here to share with you today. So I appreciate you guys being on this call. I want you just to change your perspective about what it is that you're doing and how you do it. Because if you do, if you look at this one simple product like Edge that you already have access to, and look at the different ways you can attach it to different things that you're already doing to exponentially increase your opportunities, you will find that your business will grow every time you make a minor adjustment.
Love it. Love it. Hey, Jacob, if you are listening, if you can make a survey question, I want to know how many people really committed to this. You know, are you going to take action to make your mortgage practice a game? So whatever words you want to use, I want to see what percentage of the crowd gets it, understands it. So Jacob, you could load that and let me know when it's up. Mike, I mean, great conversation. I think we are going to have some time for some Q&A. So if anybody has a question they'd like to ask Mike, raise your hand. I want to walk through a few thoughts. First, again, everybody, I hope this is engaging and this makes sense. Talking to someone on the phone and having a sales conversation, I mean, that's a base hit. That's a move, as Coach Mike would say, towards doing business. But when you have a real quality touch point, and all of you on this call, you have Mortgage Coach, you have Edge, and you send an Edge link with a video where you've delivered value, that's not just a base hit. That's a double or a triple. Because not only have you really moved that prospect in a more powerful way, but it's social. 2 or 3 people who are involved in that home buying decision get access to that information. So it's more than a base hit. And as Coach Mike has said, winning the game, getting home runs, scoring, it's all about base hits. And just a phone conversation, it's just a base hit. If you really want to hit doubles and triples and move people around the bases of the mortgage industry faster, you've got to deliver more quality sales experiences to folks. So first, Mike, if you could let everybody know if they want to learn more, they want to be part of your tribe, obviously LinkedIn and Facebook are great places to connect with you. Your website, if you could just tell everybody a little bit about how can they connect with you to learn more from you, and when you come out with emails and wisdom, how can they connect with you?
Well, thanks, Dave. You can go to Improve My Tomorrow Coaching. You go to improvemytomorrowcoaching.com. You'll get to the website, and it's pretty straightforward. We we have a lot of information on there, and for those of you who are on this call, you'll see right on the website, we're going to continue an offer that I have out there. I do a lunch and learn with Terry Murphy every month. And this is a place where we bring mortgage professionals and realtors together to share strategies to improve both of our businesses. What you're allowed to do if you sign up for the call, you're a mortgage professional, is you can invite up to 2 realtors to join the call with you, listen to the call, and share ideas and thoughts about how to move forward. So that'll be available to all of you. Just click on the little button to register, and you'll get an invitation for the next lunch and learn. So that we're going to open up to everybody on this call. The other thing you can do on the website is you can get a free ebook. And for those of you who want, all you have to do is email us and let us know, I'd like the free ebook, and I will send you a copy of the Opportunity Advantage ebook. It's where I go through 58 different areas to which you can join or engage with the public on different areas of generating opportunities for yourself. So if you go to the website, those things are open to you, and those things are available for you absolutely free of charge, and you just have to go to the website. If you go to the website, you can sign up for my blog post. It's published every Thursday. I try to put comments and thoughts and different pieces of information on there for people to share and to know. And for those of you who are interested in becoming clients, there are videos on there explaining all the different programs, whether they be group coaching programs, whether they be monthly coaching programs, whether they be individual coaching programs. All the information is on the website. So if you get a chance, go to the website. I appreciate you looking around. If you have any questions, send us an email, and we'll be happy to address those things. And if you're interested in finding out more about what we're doing, sign up for the blog posts, get to know us a little bit, and if you decide that coaching is something that you'd like to do, just let me know. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk about it. And for anybody who is a mortgage coach client as a result of this call, if you just mention this webinar, okay, I will take $200 off any of the coaching programs that you decide to join. So if you take advantage of that, that's fine. And for any of the mortgage coach clients that have just joined my coaching services in the past 90 days, we will reflect your account to give you that $200 credit just as well.
All right. So guys, again, I will have some time for some questions. I want to know, did this connect? Was this valuable for you? Are you going to make selling a game and come up with a formula for what's a call and a sales conversation worth? What is an edge experience worth? What is a realtor meeting worth? Because to Mike's point, especially if you're closing less than 5 loans a month, you're closing 3 loans a month, that's 1 loan every week and a half, every 10 days. You need wins every day. You need to end every day going, I won, I scored points. I had conversations with home buyers. I delivered edge experiences. I had meetings with realtors. The things that add up to closing more than 5 loans a month, it's important that you can celebrate a win every single day. And Coach Mike has given you a path, a strategy to doing that. Coach Mike, any ideas on what percentage of people say, yes, I'm going to do that? And by the way, the poll is up. Please vote, and so I can push the results live. Give me a quick vote. I'm only at about 50% of you so far, so everybody vote, please.
Hey, Dave, I'll tell you, more people will probably say yes than no, but I'd be really interested in is a week from now or a month from now, how many actually did. Because that's always, that the world is full of good intentions. It's the ones who execute and implement are the ones that succeed.
Right on. Well, here's the intentions. We closed the vote, and 93% said yes. 7% said no. That's all right. I'm not going to try to talk you into those no's into it. I think you made a really good point. I urge everybody, if you don't take action in the next 48 hours, the chances are rapidly disappearing that you will. In fact, I would say if you don't take action in the next 24 hours, not 48 hours, 24 hours, they go down. So this is a great strategy, a great path for everybody to be more successful. I hope everybody will make selling a game. Listen to this call again. If you're a branch manager, play this at your next sales meeting. I hope you will take action on the skip the bagel infographic and build this into your practice. The homework assignment for everybody, in addition to signing up for Mike White's information, is to make sure you drive a mobile experience. If you have not done this, put Savage into your mobile experience. You can put coffee in there. We've got a lot of keywords. And I just want to remind everybody, we're here to help you get started. So if you're on this call, you're not achieving your goals, you aren't using Mortgage Coach on a regular basis, everybody in our organization has an iPad. Everybody is a leader. Every Tuesday we're here at 9 o'clock to inspire you with ideas from great guests. And every Thursday we're here to train you. So this Thursday, Jacob is going to focus on government loans. There will be other questions answered, other trainings, but you will have a clear understanding of how to deliver an amazing experience to folks that have served in the military, either past or present. How to make the decision, should they use their VA, FHA versus VA, in all kinds of scenarios. Jacob, anything you want to add to that?
No, Dave, I think really what we're going to be doing is just the nuts and bolts of the data entry behind all those different government programs, just so you guys know where to put everything. Where does the funding fee go? Where does the upfront MIP go on an FHA? We'll go over a little bit of the guidelines, too, on FHA so you guys understand which loans do have to carry MI for the life of the loan and which ones don't. So, of course, we're always open to questions. So if you have questions ahead of time, if you want to send those over to support right now, we'll make sure those get addressed on the Thursday call as well.
So every Thursday, 9 o'clock training, every Tuesday, ideas and strategies. So it's been an awesome call. I have a question in from Marianne. Marianne, you have been unmuted. Did you have a question or a comment?
I was just got a little lost when he was talking about the point system and completing the application. He didn't say how many points, but then he skipped right to you're on third base. You get 10 points for meeting with a referral partner.
Yeah, each time you move from first base to second or second to third or third to home,
right.
It counts as a move. It's 3 points.
Oh, okay, 3.
Okay, so a communication with somebody is 1. Moving them from base to base is 3.
Okay.
A meeting with a referral partner discussing potential opportunities is 10.
Okay.
Any combination of points you need to get to 30 a day, I have found, will lead to 5 or so credit pulls each week, which will translate into 7 to 8 closed loans a month.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And an edge report is a move, so rack them up. All right. Michael, you have been unmuted. Did you have a question or comment? Michael.
Hey, hi, Mike. Hi, Dave. Thanks very much. You know what? She asked the exact question, so I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Hey, no problem, my friend. And while we have you on the call and you are unmuted, do you have any success stories recently that you'd like to share with everybody? I'm putting you on the spot. I realize that. But, that's what you get for raising your hand, brother.
Well, I appreciate you asking. I've got a lot of personal success stories to share, but I don't really know that this is the stage for that. But I'll tell you that I've been using the greatness tracker that Jeremy Forcier sent out that I also got from Building Champions, and that's been helping out a bunch. My team has also been doing it, using it. And I have moved the needle on a few people's lives with getting them into homes just because I reached out. So any specific stories with decision points, it's hard to say.
Not a problem, man. That's good information. And obviously just being intentional about your business, keeping score, making moves, making calls. Great job, man. And thanks for raising your hand.
Thank you.
All right. So we've got about 1 more minute before I'm going to wrap it up. Mike, do you have any kind of parting words of wisdom as we wrap up today's call?
Yeah, don't be afraid. If you're having issues, you're having challenges, just send us an email. I'd love to be able to walk you through if you've got any questions. I know sometimes people don't like to ask questions on a broadcast, or they feel that their question may be, maybe a stupid question or whatever. The only thing that I've come to realize in this industry is there's no such thing as a stupid question. And as close as a stupid question as there is probably the question that you don't ask. Is probably the closest you get is to finding a stupid question. So if you have questions, please just shoot me an email. We'll be happy to respond to you. And I'll be honest with you, if it's something that is complicated or may take too long, I'll send you back an email so that we can connect by phone so I can walk you through the process.
All right, guys. So, hey, Mike was nice enough to share an article that's something that he shares with his customers on the scoring advantage. So there's a link to that on our Facebook page. So if you go to the Facebook page, you look at the post for this call, in the comments there is a link to a great, I think it's like a 9-page article, really solid. It's a bit of a review from what we talked about today. That's there. Again, I encourage you to go to Mike's site, sign up for his information. I'm going to wrap up this call. As I do, again, a big thank you again, Mike, for being on the call. And please let me know what you thought of today's call. On a level of good to great, was today's hour great, good? What did you think of the call? Mike, we're going to wrap it up. Look forward to our next conversation, and thanks for all the value that you delivered today.
Thanks, Dave. I appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. Have a fantastic week. Take action today on turning your sales, and your day-to-day job into a game. Take care, everybody.
The organizer has ended the session, and this call will be disconnected. Goodbye.